Hello guys, welcome back to Cinema Explainer for new action, drama, and thriller story. Today I'm going to explain the 2021 action drama thriller movie, The Marksman. The film opens in Arizona, near the Mexican border, where Jim Hansen, Liam Neeson, a former Marine sharpshooter, now lives a quiet life as a rancher. Jim struggles to keep up with his finances and deals with debt after his wife's passing. His life is solitary, and his only company is his loyal dog, Jackson. Jim's property sits close to the US-Mexico border, and he occasionally spots people attempting to cross illegally. He usually notifies the authorities, preferring to stay out of trouble. But despite his gruff exterior, it's clear that Jim has a strong sense of duty and decency. He lives by a personal code of honor, which becomes central to the story. One evening, Jim comes across a young boy, Miguel Jacob Perez, and his mother, Rosa Teresa Ruiz, who are trying to cross the border into the US. They're fleeing from the Mexican cartel, particularly a ruthless leader named Mauricio, Juan Pablo Raba, who will stop at nothing to kill them after Miguel's uncle betrayed the cartel. In the ensuing chaos, Rosa is wounded, and Jim tries to protect them from Mauricio's men. The encounter quickly escalates into a shootout, showcasing Jim's skill as a marksman. Despite his best efforts, Rosa succumbs to her injuries, but with her dying breath, asks Jim to take her son to Chicago, where they have family. Reluctantly, Jim agrees to honor Rosa's dying wish. He feels an unexpected sense of responsibility for Miguel, but is also wary, knowing the journey will be dangerous. He decides to avoid calling the authorities, fearing they'll separate him and Miguel or deport the boy. This mission goes against Jim's usual desire to stay out of trouble, but as they set off for Chicago, he's determined to protect Miguel at all costs. Their journey represents a moral turning point for Jim, and despite his gruff demeanor, his protective instincts begin to surface. Mauricio and his cartel members are relentless in their pursuit, determined to retrieve Miguel to prevent him from talking. Mauricio is particularly ruthless, leaving a trail of violence in his wake as he tracks the boy and Jim across state lines. The cartel's resources and connections make them a constant, looming threat. They manage to get information on Jim's truck and monitor their progress, adding tension to Jim and Miguel's journey. Mauricio's character is cold-blooded, viewing Jim as a mere obstacle, and his menacing presence drives the urgency of Jim's mission. As they travel, Jim and Miguel's relationship develops. Initially, they barely communicate due to the language barrier and Jim's lack of patience. However, as they spend more time together, Jim becomes more protective, and Miguel slowly trusts him. Jim even teaches Miguel some survival skills, including gun handling, preparing him for the potential dangers ahead. Their bond deepens as they share their respective hardships, Jim's loss of his wife and financial troubles, and Miguel's fear and grief over his mother's death. Jim's tough exterior starts to soften, and he becomes almost like a surrogate father to Miguel, promising to keep him safe. Throughout their journey, Jim and Miguel face multiple attacks from the cartel. In one scene, they're ambushed at a motel, forcing Jim to rely on his sharpshooting skills and combat experience to protect Miguel. The intense action scenes highlight Jim's resilience, but they also take a toll on him, revealing his age and the limits of his endurance. The film emphasizes Jim's resourcefulness and determination, as he cleverly uses the environment to his advantage in several skirmishes. Each encounter also intensifies Miguel's understanding of the danger they're in, making him increasingly dependent on Jim for survival. Their journey is further complicated when they encounter a local sheriff who offers assistance, but this ultimately leads the cartel closer to them. Jim's mistrust of law enforcement deepens, and he becomes wary of accepting help from anyone, fearing that they may inadvertently lead Mauricio and his men straight to them. At this point, Jim realizes the true extent of the cartel's influence and how difficult it will be to protect Miguel. However, his commitment to Rosa's dying wish and his promise to Miguel keep him motivated, even as the odds seem insurmountable. The film's climax takes place in an abandoned barn near the outskirts of Chicago. Jim prepares for a final standoff with Mauricio and his men, using every skill he learned as a Marine sniper to turn the barn into a defensible position. The showdown is tense, as Jim and Miguel hunker down, trying to outsmart and outlast their attackers. In the end, Jim faces Mauricio in a dramatic, close-quarters fight. Despite his age, Jim's military training and determination give him an edge, allowing him to defeat Mauricio in a brutal confrontation. Jim's victory comes at a great cost, however, as he's left wounded and exhausted. With the cartel defeated, Jim and Miguel make it to Chicago. Jim ensures Miguel reaches his family, fulfilling his promise to Rosa. The journey has taken its toll on both of them, but they've emerged with a stronger bond and a newfound understanding of family and sacrifice. Jim's decision to go to such lengths for a boy he barely knew represents his moral redemption. He finds purpose again, despite the challenges and violence he's endured. In the film's closing scenes, Jim leaves Miguel with his family, saying a heartfelt goodbye as he walks away, finally letting go of his past burdens. Thanks for watching. I'm expecting 200 likes and 300 comments on this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.